Hello everyone, welcome to Statecraft IS Academy, and as you all know we have started a new initiative called the Daily Current Affairs Discussion, and you'll get the PDF of this video on the Statecraft's Telegram channel, Statecraft website, as well as in the description box of this video. So let's get started with the current affairs. Our first topic of discussion is SAGE portal. So the full form of SAGE here is Senior Care Aging Growth Engine. So this SAGE portal is launched by the Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment, and as the name suggests, this portal is to support India's elderly persons, and it is a one-stop access of elderly care products and services by credible startups. So basically startups will be selected under this initiative, and they will provide new innovative products and services to the elderly persons in various areas like health, travel, finance, legal, housing, food, among others. And these startups will actually get a fund of up to 1 crore rupees as a one-time equity. So there will be startups will be selected for this initiative, and they can sell their products on the SAGE portal, and also they'll get a fund of up to 1 crore rupees. Next, we'll talk about teachers' eligibility test. So it is a minimum qualification that is required in India for a person to be eligible for the appointment as a teacher for classes 1 to class 8. And this test is mandatory for teaching jobs in Indian governmental schools. And also this test is conducted by both central and state governments of India. So basically this test was conducted to meet the objectives of the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act of 2009. And recently the Ministry of Education has extended the validity of the teachers eligibility test qualifying certificate, that is from 7 years to life with retrospective effect from 2011. Next we'll talk about X-Ray Setu. So it's an artificial intelligence driven X-ray interpretation platform. So what will happen, it is actually developed to identify COVID-19 positive patients, and even from the low resolution chest X-ray images that can be sent on WhatsApp. So it is developed by AI and Robotics Technology Park in collaboration with a Bangalore based health tech startup Niramai and Indian Institute of Science. So this X-Ray Setu AI service will analyze the X-ray using a specialized machine learning and deep learning algorithm that will be built for detecting unique COVID features in the lungs. Next we'll talk about National Pharmaceutical Pricing Authority, which is also known as NPPA in short form. So it is an independent regulator for pricing of drugs, and it also ensures the availability, accessibility of the medicines at an affordable price. So this authority has been constituted by the Government of India resolution in 1997. So it's important to note that it is not a statutory organization. It has not been established by any act of the Parliament. It is actually constituted by a resolution of the government. And this is an attached office of the Department of Pharmaceuticals, which comes under the Ministry of Chemicals and Fertilizers, and it regularly publishes the list of medicines and their maximum ceiling price under the drug price control orders. Also recently, by invoking the extraordinary powers, this authority has capped the trade margin up to 70% on price to distributor level on oxygen concentrators, so as to reduce the price of oxygen concentrators. Next we'll discuss about the Model Tenancy Act. So recently the Union Cabinet has approved the Model Tenancy Act for circulation to all the states and UTs for their adaptation by way of either by way of fresh legislation or by amending the existing rental laws. So this will help the legal framework with respect to rental housing across the country. And talking about the amendment, the draft of this Model Tenancy Act was actually released in 2019, and the act and it was passed recently in 2021. This act aims to bridge the trust between the tenants and the landlords. So the highlights of this model law include it is applicable prospectively, that it is not applicable retrospectively. This means that the only new agreements that will be taking place between the tenants and the landlords, no, only those, this law will only apply to those agreements and not the existing ones. And also it has made it mandatory that there should be a written agreement between the landlord and the tenant. So earlier what used to happen is, many a times that the verbal agreement used to take place. There were no formal agreements between the tenant and the landlord, which led to confusion and conflicts. So to avoid it, there should be a written agreement, and the agreement will have to be submitted to the concerned district rent authority. Also, the law speaks about the roles and responsibilities of the landlord and the tenants, and no landlord or property manager can withhold any of the essential supply to the premise occupied by the tenant. This usually happens when the landlords try to harass the tenants, to force them to pay more. Next, if the tenancy has not been renewed, the tenancy shall be deemed to be renewed on a month-to-month basis on the same terms and conditions as were in the expired tenancy agreement for a maximum period of 6 months. So, what will happen is, if the tenancy agreement is not renewed at the end of the agreement, so this will be deemed to be renewed on a month-to-month basis for the maximum period of 6 months. And there will be a compensation in case of non-vacancy. So on the expiry of the extended period of 6 months of the agreed tenancy period or the termination of the tenancy by order notice, the tenant shall be a tenant in default. So he will be considered in default, and then the tenant will be liable to pay a compensation of double of the monthly rent for 2 months, and then 4 times of the monthly rent after the 2 months expiry. And also, the landowner or the property manager may enter a premise in accordance with a written notice or a notice through an electronic media at least 24 hours before the time of entry. So talking about the significance, it is an important legislation. So it will promise to ease the burden of the civil courts, unlock rental properties which are stuck in legal disputes, and also prevent future tangles by balancing the interest of the tenants and the landlords. Next, we'll discuss about Da Vinci Plus and Veritas. So NASA has announced 2 new Venus missions. It will examine the planet's atmosphere and geological features. So the 2 sister missions aim to understand how Venus became an inferno-like world. It is capable of melting lead at the surface. Also, this new mission will give a fresh view of the planet's atmosphere, made up of the planet's atmosphere is mostly made up of carbon dioxide, down to the core. So first, Da Vinci Plus. So it stands for Deep Atmosphere Venus, Investigation of Noble Gases, Chemistry and Imagining. So this mission will measure the planet's atmosphere to gain insight as to how it was formed and evolved, and also it will determine whether Venus ever had an ocean or was possibly habitable. So this would actually make this would be the first US-led mission to Venus atmosphere since 1978, and it will the result from the mission can help us reshape our understanding of the terrestrial planet formations in our solar system and beyond. Next, Venus Veritas. It stands for Venus Emissivity, Radio Science, INSAR, Topography and Spectroscopy. So this the mission will map the planet's surface to understand its geologic history and investigate how it developed so differently than the Earth. Also, this mission will use a form of radar to chart the surface elevations and discover whether volcanoes and earthquakes are still happening or not. An initiative related to Venus in India. So India actually has planned to launch a new orbiter named Shukran to Venus in 2024. So talking about the planet, it was named after the Roman goddess of love and beauty, and it is the second planet from the sun. So it is after Mars. It is between Mars and Earth, and it is the sixth in the solar system in size and mass. It is the second brightest natural object in the night sky after moon, and this is the reason that why it is the fourth planet to have its motion plotted across the sea. So due to the reason that it is the brightest, we can actually plot no so its path can actually be plotted. And also important thing to note is, unlike other planets in the solar system, this Venus and Uranus spin clockwise on their axis, while other planets spin anti-clockwise on their axis. And it is also the hottest planet in the solar system because it has high concentration of carbon dioxide, which produces intense greenhouse effect. Also, a day on Venus is longer than a year. It takes Venus longer to rotate because it takes Venus to longer to rotate once on its axis than to complete one orbit of the sun. So next we'll discuss about an editorial, that is the time to limit global warming is melting away. We all know that due to global warming and increase in the heat in the atmosphere, the sea ice is melting on a constant basis. But it is also important to note that the time to limit the global warming is also melting away. So we actually require to take immediate action. We celebrated the World Environment Day on June 5, and it is a very important moment to take this talk on climate change. Now, we all know that it is an incredibly difficult time for the world. The world is facing two momentous challenges. First is COVID-19 and the second is climate change. So, both need us to come together globally to find a way forward. Now, India already has a strong record on tackling climate change. The following initiatives has been taken by India. So, like, it has taken impressive domestic targets to have 450 gigawatt of renewable energy by 2030. Also, it is responsible for establishing International Solar Alliance and the Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Wait a second. Next, it has also played a critical role in delivering the landmark Paris Agreement. And also recently, India and UK has committed through the 2030 UK-India roadmap to work closely to drive the green growth agenda. Next, so in terms of limiting the warming, every fraction of a degree makes a huge difference. So an average global temperature rise of 2 degrees Celsius would see hundreds of millions of people being affected. No more hundreds and millions of people being affected. And the Climate Action Tracker has estimated that the country's current emission reduction targets will rise the average temperature by 2.4 degrees Celsius. So even if we achieve our current emission reduction targets, the average temperature will rise by 2.4 degrees Celsius, while we are planning to limit it to 2 degrees Celsius and also below 1.5 degrees Celsius. But see, as you can see in the study, if we continue without any targets, the temperature would rise by 2.9 degrees Celsius, and if we achieve our targets, no, our pledges and all the targets, still the temperature will rise by 2.4 degrees Celsius. So it's high time that we decide on, take up, all the countries should come together and decide on a more ambitious target so as to avoid such rise. So the key goals that need urgent attention include, first of all, it is to keep 1.5 degrees Celsius within reach. So globally we need to reach net zero by the middle of the century. So to achieve this, we'll need to take strong actions over the next decade. So this 2021 to 2030 decade is considered to be very important in terms of tackling environmental issues. For example, UK has also set an ambitious short-term targets backed by net zero targets, and India will reach its own decisions, but India also has an opportunity to show that a different development path is possible. It has an opportunity to be at the forefront of a new global green transition. India has already proved it has the innovation and political will to do so. India has increased its wind and solar capacity 4 times in the last decade. And the second goal should be to protect the people and the nature from the worst effect of the climate change. Recently, we have seen two cyclones hitting the Indian coast, that is the Taukte and the Yas. So India must take act on the very real need for flood defenses, warning systems, and other vital efforts to minimize, avert, and address the loss and damage caused by climate change. And the third goal should be, the developed countries should deliver the $100 million they promised annually to support the developing countries so that they can also meet their targets on time. For example, UK is pushing all the other developed countries to increase their climate finance commitments ahead of COP26 to deliver the right flow of finance and technology to meet the needs of the countries such as India. And fourth, we must work together to deliver on these goals. So we need to build a consensus between the government, among the government, bring the businesses and civil society on the board, and building international collaborations in critical sectors. Next, in the conclusion, we can say that this decade, that is 2021 to 2030, is a very decisive decade. So important decisions, ambitious targets needs to be taken, and to limit the warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, we must halve the global emissions by 2030, and all the countries need to step up efforts on these goals, because the COP26 is the last chance for keeping hopes of limiting the global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius alive, and the best chance to build a better future, a future of green jobs and a cleaner air. So this editorial was it includes a lot of important points which can be written in mains and which can be used in mains answer writing. So try to remember the facts as well and quote it. So all for today, guys. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.